All right, so before we start this presentation proper, I'd like to just do a quick poll here for those who are here in order for us to understand a bit more about you. Okay, I launched a poll. I hope you can see it. If you can, try to answer the questions that I have here. Right, just a couple more seconds while the rest answer those questions. This will actually help us when we do our presentation later on, and also in the discussion as well. If you are not able to see the poll, please let me know in the chat. All right, I think we can end it now. All right, so you can see that, yeah, pretty good even number we are looking at. Half of you guys are looking for undergraduate program and the rest are looking for a master's degree. So I think we can start the presentation now. So let you know about some of the opportunities that you can look forward to. Let me stop the result sharing and the poll. All right, so let's move on into the presentation. Okay, we will be talking about aviation, so perhaps some fast and quick fact about the aviation industry. Okay, this is a growing industry. Okay, with increased demands for air transport and travel, especially for trained professionals in the area. There are nearly 66 million jobs being supported worldwide in aviation and aviation-related fields. For the industry-wise, okay, out of these 66 million, about 10.2 million people, they work directly in aviation industry. For example, like pilots, okay, your engineers, your mechanics, your technicians perhaps, or even like air traffic management. Okay, so when I say that it's a fast growing industry, we see that the employment in support of air transportation is actually expected to grow, okay, by quite a bit. Right, so this is just to give you a quick overview, okay, about the aviation industry, and we'll be talking about studying, okay, of aviation aerospace. A very common questions that we get very often, right, is when someone wants to study in aviation, but they do not understand that, when you talk about aviation, very often it's not one particular degree or program, right? This actually comprises of many different areas and fields of studies that can be a program or a degree program on their own. Okay, so for example, you can choose to go into flight operations, you can choose to go into air traffic management, aviation safety, or like the engineering disciplines, for example, your aerospace engineering, and even like space operation. Okay, at Embry-Riddle, we actually have the first commercial space operation program in the United States. So these are some of the examples that you can choose to go into. We will be going into a bit more details, okay, further on. All right, so in short, when you talk about aviation studies, it actually revolve around aircraft, flying, and the various supporting sector. So for aerospace, you will even include space operation and space flight. A very quick overview, okay, on the educational opportunity in the US when it comes to aviation. Goes without saying that there are a lot of different schools and institutions in the US that offers different qualification, like your flight schools with your pilot certification, okay, community colleges, or even university. Okay, they can be large university or a university that are more focused, okay, for example, in aviation, like Embry-Riddle. Okay, all these different types of schools will actually lead you to different qualification, right? Ranging from your professional certificates, you can be getting a FAA certification, for example, like pilot license, or you can be getting an academic qualification ranging from your undergraduate degrees, okay, 2 years, or the 4 years bachelor degree, or your graduate studies, okay, master's or your PhD. Right, so these are all offered by the many different schools here in the US. So moving forward, okay, next, okay, I'll be providing an outline for the rest of the presentation. Okay, what I'll be doing is following these 5 steps, okay, as laid out here. Okay, these are what we consider as guidelines that can actually help you when you are doing your search or your research for the programs and schools in the US, you can use them as a guideline to search for aviation programs or any other type of program, because this is applicable for other programs as well. But I will focus a bit more on aviation throughout the rest of the presentation, of course. First, you have to know what is a degree program that you want to do. We mentioned that there's a lot of different programs. So you have to understand what is it that you want to do in order to move on to the second step, which is choosing the university that provide the programs that you actually want to do. And that will involve step 3 here, choosing the right location, because the United States is a big country with universities all over the entire country. So you might want to put location as one of the factor, especially when you are doing aviation program. If you want to do flight training, you have to be aware of the different weather situation as well. Step number 4, we'll be talking about the cost. It's not just about tuition fee. There's many other fees involved as well. If you are doing a program that will include flight training, you have to take that into consideration. And last but not least, step 5, will be on the admission requirements. I'm sure a lot of you guys actually know that this is something that you have to find out even before you apply for the program, but I will still talk a bit more about that later on. All right, so for the first step, choosing the right degree program. So what is right for me might not be right for you. So this is something that you have to decide choosing a field of study within aviation. All right, first question you have to ask yourself is, what is your interest? What is it that you want to do? Right? Do you want to fly an aircraft? Or perhaps, or you're more interested in designing and building an engine? Or you perhaps you are more of a business person. You want to go into managing airline or even an airport. So this is the question that you should first ask yourself when you're choosing a field of study, because as I've been mentioning, there's many different fields and concentration to choose from. And you should actually look into the future career that you want. In order for you, to choose a field of study with your future career in mind. So this will actually make more sense if you are studying for something that you really like and you want to go into this career in the future. Well, we are not able to speak for all the university in the US, definitely. But from Embry-Riddle perspective, here I'm providing you with a snapshot of the programs that we offer in Embry-Riddle. At Embry-Riddle alone, we have more than 100 different degree programs. You can actually go into different areas in aviation. We also provide business administration program. Of course, our engineering program as well, right? To give you a better idea, for those of you who are actually intending to train to be a professional pilot, you might want to be a pilot as your career, you can choose to look at programs such as a degree in aeronautical science, or perhaps the Bachelor of Science in Aeronautics, which can be done here in Singapore campus as well. Both of these degree programs will actually give you the chance to obtain your commercial pilot license. So the title of the program might be different between different universities, but this is something that you should actually look into to see whether they provide the type of content or training that you will need in order to be a professional pilot. For those who want to go into air traffic management, you can choose to go into our air traffic management degree program, on our campuses, or for the aspiring engineers, we are actually we have one of the top undergraduate engineering program in the United States. Especially, we are very well known for our aerospace engineering program. So you can actually choose to do an aerospace engineering, mechanical engineering, or even a computer engineering program with Embry-Riddle. So you can actually choose to go into areas such as aviation maintenance, aircraft maintenance. So I mentioned business aspect as well. So we also provide the aviation business administration program, aviation finance, and we are one of the few universities in the US that have a bachelor degree in unmanned aircraft system. So these are the different areas that you can actually look into, okay, if you want to explore a possible career in aviation. It's not just about flying the aircraft or going to engineering. There's also other aspects like the business side of things, that you can actually consider as well. So with this, right, once you have a better idea of the programs that you want to do, then you can actually go into choosing the school, because that will help you to narrow down, okay, the options. Yeah. For aviation-wise, okay, there are actually more than 100 different colleges and universities, okay, with aviation programs, and that number is not actually including flight schools. Right? So some of the things to consider when you look at university with aviation program, you should be looking at perhaps the size of the school. Okay, you might be from a smaller city. You might not be used to being in a big group of people. And there are universities in the US with tens of thousands of students, right? So you might not be used to that. That is something that you can consider. You should also be looking at the accreditation and recognition of the program, especially if you want to go into specific companies or industry like aviation. Okay, for example, at Embry-Riddle, okay, our degree program is actually very well recognized, okay, by the aviation industry, with many of our alumni currently working in the industry. So this is a very good indication that the program that you are doing is recognized by the industry. And of course, we'll be talking about the location and cost later on. Right, when it comes to the size of schools, I was mentioning that there are schools in the US, they are huge. You can be in a campus with 20 to 30,000 students, okay, and you might just be a number within that big population. Also, depending on yourself, okay, whether you're comfortable with such an environment, or this can be overwhelming for some students when you're facing such a big population. You might want to go into smaller schools, okay, or perhaps a university like Embry-Riddle, where we are more focused on specific area like aviation. Okay, so what this means is that I always feel that if you are concentrating on several specific topics, universities such as Embry-Riddle or a smaller school might be able to offer you a better environment that's more conducive. Okay, with Embry-Riddle, we see that our students are definitely enthusiastic, okay, about aviation and aerospace. So what you see in a smaller school is that you have small classes, usually, with dedicated faculty who are actually very experienced in their area of specialization. Okay, and we also see that you have the option to simply attend a flight school, okay, and get a pilot license. Okay, and with that, you might be able or legally able to actually fly aircraft. Okay, however, another common question that we see is students asking why should they be doing a degree in aviation if they can just do a flying, get a license to be a pilot. So, I just like to share with you some reasons why, okay, is that first thing, if you are looking to be a pilot of an airline, such interviews, they're usually very, very competitive. Okay, having the degree in aviation will help you stand out and set you aside from others who are actually, trying out for the same position. And of course, the airlines are looking for no more than just a license. There are a lot of flight schools, or not just in the US. Okay, you see that there can be many people holding the license, but having the degree in aviation will actually help you, okay, when you go for the interview and they see that you have the abilities to actually complete, okay, and the discipline to complete the degree that you have. And the degree itself will actually help open up more opportunities, okay, in your career by exposing you to more chances to go into management. Okay, or you can even move on to do a graduate degree, for example, an MBA, okay, that can help you, okay, grow in your career in the airlines. And yeah, to be honest, okay, being a pilot, there's actually a lot of unknowns, especially when it comes to, let's say, you need to maintain certain medical status, okay, to stay really, really fit in order to have a long career as a pilot. And things can happen. Okay, there are a lot of unknowns for this, and having a degree is very good. Okay, as a backup, okay, you can actually move into different area in aviation if you are no longer flying. So that is something that you should really consider. Okay. So the next thing is, what set Embry-Riddle apart from the other university offering aviation-related degree? All right. First of all, okay, if I have not already mentioned, we are actually the oldest, largest university system in the world that specializes in aviation and aerospace. So I did mention that our degree, our program, are actually very well received and recognized by the industry. And many of our alumni actually go on to work for a lot of the major airlines and aviation company in the US and around the world, right? In fact, here we state that major airlines, they hire more alumni from Embry-Riddle than from any other university in the US. This contribute to a big global network of alumni. You can find them in all around the world, with aviation being a very global industry. In fact, I think if you look in Taiwan itself, you'll find that quite a big number of alumni is currently working in Taiwan in various of the aviation company as well as airline. And one last point is that our curriculum, okay, is designed for the industry by the industry, because we have our industry advisory board, okay, comprising of members, okay, who hold very often senior position in the industry in various companies, who are able to provide feedback, okay, to us on the programs, and especially on what is the current trend and relevant, what is relevant in the industry right now, in order for us to improve upon our curriculum, to make sure that when our graduates, when our alumni graduate and they go into the industry, they are very much prepared and up to date with what is going on. So that is, to sum up why, if you're looking at aviation, Embry-Riddle is definitely a university that you can consider. And moving on to our next point, okay, we'll be talking about location. Location. So that is a factor that many students, in my opinion, they overlook. Simply because, they might not have done enough research. Okay, like I mentioned, the US, the United States is a big country, and the weather situation can be very different in different parts of the country. So if you come from a country like me, for example, in Singapore here, it is warm and humid, okay, you might not be used to living in places with extremely cold winter. Okay, you got to spend like 3 months out of a year or even more, okay, in sub-zero temperature. You might not be used to that. And when it comes to aviation, especially for those seeking to do flight training, okay, weather can play a big part as well. Okay, you want to make sure that the location you are studying at, they have good weather to support all your flying classes. You do not want to have your classes cancelled very often because of bad weather. So that is a factor you can consider. So for Embry-Riddle, we have 2 residential campuses in the US, located in Daytona Beach, Florida, as well as in Prescott, Arizona. The bigger campus is in Daytona Beach, Florida. We have about 6,000 students at undergraduate level, with around 600 students doing their graduate studies. Very often, a very good indication, of the student population, especially for international students considering to join the university. You can look at the amount of international students on campus, because that can mean that, what are the chances of you being admitted. If you see that, here we see that we have approximately 17% of the students on the Daytona Beach campus coming from outside of the United States, which is a very respectable number. Okay, the Daytona Beach campus is located an hour away, in Florida, an hour drive away from the Kennedy Space Center, and also approximately an hour away from Orlando, and that is where Universal Studios and Disney World, they are located, if that's your thing, right? So that is one of the campus. The other residential campus, is actually located in Prescott, Arizona, 2 hours away from Phoenix. This is a smaller campus in terms of student population, with close to 3,000 undergraduate students and about 50 graduate students, and 7% of international students out of the entire student population. So both of these locations, they actually have very good weather that's suitable for those who are looking to do flying. to take flying classes with us. And we come to the next location. Okay, many universities in the US, okay, they might have campuses located outside of the United States. Very good example, Embry-Riddle. Okay, we have our campus, Asia campus, located in Singapore. This is one of the safest country in the world, alongside Taiwan, of course. Okay, we offer programs at both the undergraduate and graduate level. And you see that we have a much smaller student population as compared to the campuses in the US, with around 500 students, and 35% of them are international students. So you see that this is a very tight community with usually smaller classes, resulting in closer interaction between the students and faculty. So the location here in Singapore is also very convenient for those of you who are in Asia, of course, if you want to study somewhere that's closer to home. And the important thing to note is that the programs that we offer here, okay, have the same accreditation and recognition as all other campuses in Embry-Riddle. So regardless of whether you're graduating from the Singapore campus or the US campuses, the recognition of the degree by the companies, by the industry is the same, right? So that is something that you should be looking at, okay, especially when you're looking at different campuses. Yes, now we move on to the course. A very major part of any discussion that you need to have when you are looking at the university options. For Embry-Riddle, okay, we do not make any distinction between international students or even US citizens when it comes to tuition fee, unlike many universities in the US where the tuition fee can be different between different programs or different students, whether you are international students or you are a US citizen. All right, so we have the same tuition rate, which is actually listed here. Of course, the tuition fee is not the only thing that you should be considering. A very big part, okay, I think the second largest component when it comes to cost of attendance at the university in the United States will be your housing, right? So that is something as an international student, you should really be aware of. For the room and board, sometimes the university might require you to stay on campus for the first or second year. And for students, especially if you want to do if your program includes flight training, you need to be aware of what are the costs involved when you want to do your flight training. For Embry-Riddle, students doing flight training should expect an additional $20,000 US a year, for your flight cost. So most of this information are available on the website of the university. So do make sure you seek them out. Just a quick mention, you have seen our slides. Right below, we have our contact information as well as our website listed there. If you want to seek out specific information, like the fees and all that, feel free to contact us or check out our website. And for those of you, I know that here are looking for a graduate program in the residential campus in the US, you, after factoring in your tuition fee, room and board, you are looking at every cost of like $32,000 approximately a year for the program. But take note that typically graduate programs on our US campuses might take up to 2 years. Okay, so I think the slides here actually speak for themselves when I'm going to say that typically you see that some campuses, especially located outside of the US, might have lower tuition fee, which is the case for us here at Embry-Riddle Asia campus. Our tuition fees is only around $13,000 to $14,000 US a year, for the program. We do not, one big difference is that we do not provide on-campus accommodation. So we have estimated cost of $10,000 a year for off-campus accommodation. But do not worry, because for Singapore-wise accommodation, they are actually plentiful and they are rather affordable. So the $10,000 budget that we set out here are pretty generous. You can actually expect perhaps lower than $10,000 depending on your lifestyle. Okay, so all in all, you might be expecting a cost of approximately 25,000 US dollars a year to attend one of our programs here at the campus in Asia, in Singapore. Our graduate programs here typically runs for about a year, okay, especially when you're talking about an MBA program. So if you look at the total cost of 37,000, okay, that is definitely a lot lower than what you'll be paying if you are going to the campuses in the US. And the next slides, okay, I'll be talking a bit about scholarships. Right, I hope you guys are interested in scholarships, right? So we do get quite a bit of questions about scholarships. So just talk a bit about this. Like many other universities, okay, at Embry-Riddle, we offer scholarship based on academic merit. Right, so what happens is that students, when you apply, okay, when you submit your application for the program, you will be assessed, okay, for eligibility, for scholarship eligibility, okay, and if you meet our criteria, you'll be actually invited to apply for the scholarship. For the AJ campus, this will actually range from anything from $3,000 to $9,000, okay, for undergraduate students. Okay, and I'd just like to share with you guys something that is, I think, very relevant to us right now. Okay, for new students starting at Embry-Riddle Asia campus this fall, okay, we have a July or October intake coming out. If you are starting with us this July or October, you will be actually eligible for an immediate scholarship of $5,000 for undergraduate students. And for graduate students, you're looking at a scholarship of $2,500. Okay, that will not be, that is on top of any scholarship you will get, okay, based on your academic merit. So you can be eligible for potentially up to 14,000, okay, for undergraduate students. So that is something that, you know, in view of the current global pandemic going on, we understand that there are many students facing financial difficulties, okay, with all this situation going on. So that is why we actually have what we call the enhanced institutionally funded scholarship program, okay, for students starting with Embry-Riddle Asia this fall. All right, so last but not least, okay, admissions requirements. Okay, goes without saying, this will actually be different for different university. Okay, we have our own set of requirements. Okay, every university will have their own set of requirements when it comes to admissions. So for Embry-Riddle wise, okay, or should I say for schools in the United States, we will typically ask for you to have certain GPA, okay, which is also the grade point average, okay, in order to be eligible for the programs. So certain institutions might have requirement for the different educational system you are in, such as, for example, the IB diploma or A levels, or perhaps your national curriculum that you're doing in your country. So in these cases, you might be required to do what we call the foreign credential evaluation. Right, the foreign credential evaluations, basically there are services that are offered by third-party company, and what will happen is that, you know, your transcript, your results will be converted by them, okay, from whatever system you're in into the GPA system. So this will help the university, or for example us in this case, make a better decision when it comes to admission for you. We have also what certain cases students might be required, okay, to prove their English proficiency, especially if you study in a system where English is not the medium of instruction. So there might be a need for you to do what we call standardized English testing, like the IELTS, the IELTS, okay, or the TOEFL, okay, which might be more familiar to some of you. So you might be required to provide, okay, the scores. For Embry-Riddle, okay, we need you to have a IELTS score of at least 6.0, okay, or a TOEFL score of 79. But if, let's say, okay, there are schools that are willing to waive the need for this if your education was done in English. So at Embry-Riddle, if you had studied for more than 2 years in the school where the language of instruction is English, you would not be required to submit, you know, any TOEFL or IELTS. Right? Okay, a very common question, okay, from students when it comes to admission into US institutions will be on SAT. do do I need to do the SAT? What are the scores that is required? For many universities in the US now, we are seeing that many of them are now moving away from SAT in the sense that it can be optional if you choose to apply to the school. One example at Embry-Riddle, SAT is actually optional for many of our programs, with the exception of certain programs like engineering. If you intend to do an engineering program, you are required to actually submit SAT score, meeting a minimum of 1,290 points. So that can be true for some other university. So make sure you find out those requirements before you actually submit your application. Other than the SAT, US University, for us, we like to approach the admission in a more holistic manner, which means that you will not be strictly looking only at your academic achievement. And that will come in the form of providing, requiring you to write an essay or what we call here a personal statement. This is a good chance for you to articulate yourself, to tell us more about yourself, your passion, any achievement that you have outside of academic where we can see them. This will help boost your chance many times to help boost your chance of being accepted, especially if you feel that you have shown that you are a good fit for the school and program. All right, so especially if you are interested, you have a passion for aviation, you might have participated in competition and all that. Let us know about all this because we want to see that you are doing more than just academic studies. For those who are applying for a graduate program, many of the requirements are the same, with the exception that, of course, you are required to have an undergraduate degree in the form of bachelor degree. You need to meet a requirement of GPA of 2.5 or higher on a scale of 4.0 in order to qualify for the program. But do take note that, instead of the SAT, you are required now to go for what we call the GRE or the GMAT. So these are standardized testing at the graduate level to help indicate your potential to do well in the graduate program that you're applying for. So this usually takes some time for you to familiarize yourself with and wait for the result. So do plan for all this ahead. And of course, most universities will require you to submit a detailed resume, especially if you have work experience. We want to know your experiences. We want to know things like, whether you have participated in competition, you have won any awards, scholarships, any research paper you have published, right? Any research project or any projects that you have done. You should put that in the detailed resume. This will give the admission committee a very good overview of you and your suitability for the program. Right. Okay, one last thing is recommendation letters. This might not be familiar to a lot of people, but for US University, we will actually require you to submit recommendation letters. Especially this can be optional for the undergraduate level, but at the graduate level, we definitely require some of this. It can be from academic sources, perhaps your professor, or it can also be from professional sources, perhaps your superior or your boss at work. So this will help us have a better idea of you as a person as well, together with your detailed resume. Now, I hope I have covered pretty much all the 5 steps that you have now. You have a better idea when it comes to applying for a university. With this, I would actually like to hand the presentation over to my colleague, Ms. Christy, who will bring you through the rest of the presentation before we move on to the Q&A session. Right, Christy?
Thanks, Kelvin. Could you just move the slides for me? Is that okay? Thanks so much. So as Kelvin has already introduced to you, Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University is quite an extraordinary university for many reasons, not the least because of the kind of rankings we hold. When you are choosing a university, I don't recommend that you look only at the rankings of a university. As Kelvin said throughout the presentation, it's important to look at various aspects of the university, like the kind of degree programs they offer, the kind of faculty they have, what kind of diversity they have on campus, what is their student population, and what is their location. All of these factors should play a role. But in case you are interested in the rankings of our school, for instance, we are ranked as #1 in the aerospace engineering program for 17 years in a row continuously by US News and World Report. We are also ranked in the top 5 online bachelor's degree programs in the US for 7 consecutive years. For 2020, we've been ranked as #2 in the US by US News and World Report. And 7 of our alumni are NASA astronauts. They have had opportunities to go into space. One of them is a flight director, and 2 of them are women. So obviously these are very, very impressive accomplishments and achievements for any university. Next slide, Calvin. Right. Now, if you are attending this presentation, I assume that most of you are interested in what is known as STEM courses. Either you're very, very focused on aviation and aerospace, or you're looking at some form of aeronautical sciences, aerospace engineering, etc. So in our university, even though we are the world's oldest and largest university, very focused on aviation and aerospace, yet within that area, we have more than 100 degree programs. And these 100 degree programs are offered by 7 different colleges that are on our campus. So we have the College of Applied Sciences, the College of Aviation, College of Business, Computers and Technology, College of Engineering, Safety, Security and Intelligence, as well as the College of Space. In fact, we have the US's first and only College of Safety, Security and Intelligence, and we are also the only university that to offer a commercial space operations degree program. In fact, within space, we also have programs like astrophysics, astronomy, space physics. We have security and global intelligence, cybersecurity programs. We have various engineering and science programs that Kelvin has already spoken to you about, as well as the aviation and business programs. If you have any questions about any specific about any specific degree programs, you can always ask us about that as well. Next slide. So we are obviously very well ranked for our online degree programs. We are one of the largest providers of online education as well. And we are highly respected for the quality of our online program, as well as the quality of software that we use, which is very, very cutting edge and new age, which is used by our students. We have more than 34,000 students who are enrolled in our online programs all over the world from more than 100 countries. Next. 130,000 alumni all over the world. These are students who have graduated from our university over the last 95 years. Embry-Riddle is 95 years old as a university and brings with it a heritage, a legacy, and a long tradition of excellence in higher education, specifically related to aviation and aerospace. Here you see 2 of our astronaut alumni who worked with NASA and had the opportunity to go into space. Nicole Stott is one of the ladies who continues to come back to our campus and share her experience, her life with current students. She continues to be an inspiration to many of our students. We've already spoken about this a little bit, about our rankings. #1 aerospace engineering program in the US, 17 years in a row. Worldwide online program, top 5. 7 alumni are NASA astronauts. You've heard about all of this earlier in one of the earlier slides, but one of the other statistics that you should know about if you are particularly interested in becoming a pilot is we have one of the largest pilot training programs in the United States. 1 out of every 5 commercial pilot studies at Embry-Riddle. That makes up 20% of the world's commercial pilot population. It's a huge number and a huge statistic. In fact, over the 2 campuses at Daytona Beach, Florida and Prescott, Arizona combined, we have more than 90 of our own aircraft. These are planes that we own that our students train in when they are trying to become pilots and earn their licenses. Next slide. And finally, what happens to you after you graduate? Once you graduate, 96% of our graduates are either in graduate school or in top jobs in careers of their choice within a year of graduation. This means that 96% of our students get job offers within a year of graduation in top aviation and aerospace companies. The kind of companies that hire from us are Boeing, Airbus, Embraer, whether they could be aerospace companies as well, like NASA, SpaceX. We have a huge number of students working with different airlines, some of the top international airlines all over the world, like Singapore Airlines, Cathay Pacific, Lufthansa, Etihad, Emirates, Qatar. And then we have students in the aviation business administration part of the industry who are handling or managing roles like airline pricing, airport management, airlines management, air cargo management, aviation finance. And then we also have students working in logistics companies like UPS, DHL, FedEx. So whether you want to fly an aircraft, design an engine, whether you want to become an astronaut, an engineer, a pilot, whether you want to lead the aviation industry, whether you want to become a meteorologist and predict the weather, or you want to explore outer space, whatever your dream is, whatever your goal is, we can get you there. And that brings me to the end of my presentation. Thank you so much for your time and for your attention. And we would love to hear some questions from all of you. I have noticed that we haven't received any questions in our chat, and that's totally fine. Since this is a relatively small group, if you just want to unmute and ask your question directly, please feel free to do that as well. Can I request Clarence from Education USA to maybe say a few words about Education USA and encourage any further interactions? Clarence, are you here with us today? I think he may have stepped away for a few minutes. We'll just wait another minute for any other questions. Yep. Yeah, go ahead, Calvin.
Clarence, yes, I've unmuted. You should be able to speak now. Yeah.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Yes, maybe I can use Mandarin to the audience.
Sure.
Yeah, OK. 好，各位大家好，我是 Education USA 的教育顾问啊。那今天呢，我们就是因为疫情的关系，所以我们这个就是座谈哦，就变成就用线上的方式。好，那这个 Embry-Riddle 大学呢，它是在美国是在航空界是赫赫有名的啊，等于有很多的这个选择啊，它有好几个 campus 啊，那你可以去就是去找最适合你的那个科系的 campus。OK， So okay.
Calvin, would you like to speak in Mandarin as well?
Yep. Okay.
OK，首先就要谢谢你们今天就是来参加我们这个线上的这个怎么说呢这个演讲。那主要就是希望你们现在对于这个航空航天这一块，尤其在美国这一块会比较多的一些了解。那当然我们在亚洲这里，在新加坡也有一个 campus 一个校区，所以如果你们有任何的问题的话，可以尽量就是发 email 发电邮给我们，我们可以的话，我们一定会帮助你们回答你们的问题。那也在我们的那个 PPT 的那个左下方也有我们的那个电邮 email 的地址，还有我们的那个网络那个 website， 所以你可以基本上你可以上去了解多一些资料，或者想要联系我们的话，你们可以直接来email 给我们。
Thank you so much, Kevin, and thank you, Clarence, for jumping in and saying a few words. Is there any particular question that we can address, Clarence, that you think would be very relevant and of interest to students in Taiwan particularly?
Pardon?
Kelvin, do you want to ask the question?
对，所以我们就想了解看Clarence 你对于那在台湾的学生对于这些课程的话，可能会有什么具体的问题吗？因为既然这边各位没有发问，所以我们想了解一下，可能大致上他们台湾的学生会有些怎样的一些问题？
好，传统上台湾很多学生是到美国去直接去学飞行的，然后回来考航空公司。那等于说，从这一块就变成说，从高中毕业就去美国念航空的这个相关领域是比较新的一个趋势。我想可能在台湾还是需要宣导一下，就是因为以前台湾的人都只想到说到美国直接去到飞行学校学飞行。
那我像我刚才说的，就是说像为什么我们认为你如果来所谓航空大学或者在美国的大学读那个航空相关的那个学位的话会比较好，是因为有好几个理由，主要就是对于学生日后或者是对于他日后的发展会有比较多的机会，所以有这样相比之下，如果你们只是单单就是去那个飞行学校就是考那个那个飞行员的驾照，那你的未来的潜能可能会，我不会说会被限制，不过相比之下，你当然有那个文凭的话，那个本科的那个学位，你的机会会比较多，甚至就是你将来可以就是读一个那个硕士学位，那你在航空公司的话，你也可以往那个说 management 这方面发展。
是的。
So I think pretty much okay, I have a question here, okay, in Chinese. 飞行学校跟 OK， 所以我现在有一个问题就是说，是否可以咨询？OK， 各位，我基本上已经解掉你们的静音，你们可以自己解掉了。我已经没有任何的限制 ，so I actually allow everyone to unmute themselves. So if you have a question to ask, you can basically unmute yourself. Oh, it's still not possible. Okay, just give me a moment while I help you unmute. Yes, I actually done so.
Sorry， 我可能还是讲一下用中文讲哈。Kevin， 不好意思，那个我刚才想询问一下说，因为我之前大概有做过一些功课，我其实有考量，那时候想说，小孩子只要念书，只要没有说念得特别 OK 的话，我那时候考虑想说，飞行学校也是一个我的考量中，因为小孩子本身他有公民的身份，我想问一下说，假如说念飞行学校，不管是高中或者大学本科，假如念这一块，后来实际到美国整个工作职涯发展，不知道说连接度如何？因为之前我有看过一个机师讲说，只要小孩子本身有公民的话，他蛮建议说大学本科是到美国去念所谓的飞行学校，因为他说美国的 航空公司其实蛮多的。假如说没有因为这次疫情的关系，他们说美国它的那个航空公司其实工作机会还蛮多。不知道说这方面，不知道你们可不可以给一些建议或者指导这样子
？OK， 所以你这边所谓的飞行学校，那当然可能指的像类似我们这样的一所大学，对吧？
对，
因为你也好。对，那这样类型的那个课程的话，像你要连接到工作的话，其实对飞行员这一块，我们撇开这个疫情的状况不说了，那基本上他的那个怎么说，就是他需要的那个飞行员，就是有在增加了，就是说好，老一辈的他们必须退休了，那现在
就是美国。在航，在。
OK， 不好意思，那回答你的问题就是说，你要直接从这些飞行学校找工作的话，基本上机会是很大，因为在美国的话，他们的航空公司的确是相对的可能比台湾比会非常多啊。
然后他现在的排名是全美第一，然后他那边是很多个排名，然后等一下我看一下我。
请问刚才吴先生就是有
他其实因为航配这个没有这么有名，是这个。
所以 OK 啊，好放心，那你也可以随时就是发 email 邮件给我。那如果我们可以另外安排在线上，就是让你了解多一点也行。